I'm going to go next now. I want to talk about the tale of Abdul Ezedi, the Geordie asylum seeker, as some like to say. He wasn't actually a Geordie, by the way. Ezedi's story, I think, highlights flaws in the asylum system and actually the misguided trust placed in it. For a bit of background, Ezedi, known for frequenting his local halal butchers, received a Muslim burial, revealing his professed confession, or conversion rather, to Christianity as, well, a deception. His acid attack left a woman and her daughter with a, well, I assume, lifelong scar, overshadowing a previous sexual assault conviction in 2018, which, despite that, he got into the country. Now, you look at the fact that the narrative now is that Christian ministers and the judiciary are fair game for criticism, and I would accept that, for being fooled by asylum seekers, claiming conversion to Christianity. You've got other examples, like Ezedi. They've got the Islamist bomber Al-Swayman. The judiciary, basically, the criticism of the judiciary here overlooked his criminal background, and, of course, the Church of England, I think, have a real case to answer. I don't think he should have ever been allowed into the country. I think other countries do this much better than we do, and actually, I think the public deserve a hell of a lot better than what they've got. You were in government, Charlie. I mean, that's not acceptable, surely.
It's
to
not
allow someone like that in the country, I mean.
No, it's not. And I think everybody would be flabbergasted as to know as to how to someone who had a sexual conviction against them, who applied twice to get into the UK, was rejected, rightly so, was unable to apply for a third time based on having just a different religion or pleading Christianity and getting in. And then to go and commit that awful crime, there he is, that awful crime that you just outlined, I think everybody across the country will be up in arms at, again, the Home Office, which has got so many questions to answer. It's clearly not fit for purpose. It hasn't been since, I think, John Reid, the Labour Home Secretary, said in 2008 the Home Office isn't fit for purpose. And so I don't think it's a government thing necessarily in total, but the Home Office certainly has to look at its practices, but certainly the Church has to answer the question as to why it sort of just took pity on this poor fella who, as I say, has been rejected twice and had a sexual conviction against him.
But I guess the core question is, should we provide asylum to people on religious grounds? Because ultimately, this case could happen again and again with someone just pretending to be a Christian. Now, there are parts of the world where Christians do suffer persecution, and Christians may well come to this country for asylum. But just having that sort of generous, compassionate approach to asylum, saying if you are a Christian, you can come here and seek asylum, does that mean that we're OK with the fact that the system could be abused, Darren? You're a Christian. Yeah. What do you think about it?
Well, look, I think it's time to say that Britain can take no more. I think it's
no more asylum seekers at all?
No. Because I genuinely mean that. I think we've got a massive housing crisis. There is nowhere for people to go, for the native population to go. So I think no. I'm afraid we can't be the end destination for everybody that wants to come here.
Well, I think you can. I mean, I think,
everyone.
Well, not everyone, obviously not everybody, but I think, you can still allow people to come into the country if they're seeking asylum on religious grounds. But just, the cold, hard facts of this case is that it's not very Christian if you've already got a sexual offence, or that you've already committed and you've been convicted. I mean, so, he shouldn't have been in the country, regardless of his religion, regardless of how he was applying, on what grounds. He should not have been in the country.
Well, I think the person who's not a Christian here is Darren. Because the idea that you claim to profess love thy neighbour, and yet someone who has been persecuted in ways we can't even bear to comprehend, let alone experience, that they would come to your door. I don't think that, no, but I'm talking about... No, I did not say that. I'm talking about asylum seekers, as you were. You weren't just talking about him. The idea that someone who has been through an utterly horrifying life experience turns up at your door and asks for help, and you think it's the Christian thing to say, no, I don't want to. I tell you what, there are countries in this world that have a lot less than Britain, a lot less money, a lot less resource, sometimes less space, and they still find time to help others. And I think that's the country Britain should be.
I think actually Britain should be a country that actually looks after its own people, and actually we're not doing that.
I think you insult the people of this country. You insult them.
Don't.
You do, because most people in this country are far kinder and far more hospitable to people in hard times than what you're describing.
Immigration are absolutely out of the order, and no one agrees with you, frankly. If you look at the public polling, So I don't know what planet you think you're living on to think that people watching this will be in agreement with you.
Who agrees that we should have no asylum seekers at all? No, I mean in the public. You just mentioned the public disagree with Benjamin. I think the public would disagree with you that we should have no asylum seekers whatsoever. I mean, the public was massively in favour of the Ukrainians and the Hong Kongers coming here, for example. You would say no to all of them as well.
Well, no, I wouldn't actually. Not in that scenario.
So changing your opinion?
No, not at all, because that's
you
not on
have.
religious grounds.
You didn't say religious grounds. You said no asylum seekers. So, you know, to those people that came here, you watched this film the other day about the Jewish immigrants during the Second World War.
Yeah, we only let 300 of them in. That's not
I think
as
it was
many as
600
you're
odd.
calling for.
But you would turn those away from people that they're escaping the persecution like that. I think that is a deeply selfish and nasty way to approach things.
Do you know what? I can totally understand, because I've tried to get into another country and I had to change job. I had to become a skilled migrant to get my residency in New Zealand. So you do have to change your circumstances. However, I do think it's a bit of a numpty move. Whoever stamped this guy's passport and said, yeah, no, stay. It's like he went, oh, yeah, no, do you know what? Allah's not for me anymore. I like the Easter eggs and Jesus and Christmas. This is great. Who believed that? That's ridiculous. But the good thing is, a Muslim mate of mine said, don't worry, Allah's going to sort him out. I was like, thanks, mate.
Yeah, you've got a good word.
Can I just make one point? That I think when he was assessed on this Christianity, he actually failed the test. So clearly the system was woefully
He said
inadequate.
Jesus was Jacob or something like that. But anyway,